I spent this sprint working on the calendar functionality of the app. There's a few more things to polish up as well as a code review, but other than those few things, I'm finished. In the last sprints, I've built a fully functional working gig signup function, as well as an attendance taking feature, plus additional features for daily itinerary and daily announcements to be seen by members of the band. After some cleaning and finishing of the calendar function, this app is fully functional in all aspects, and just needs a code review moving forward. I hope that anyone who has had to review this enjoys the recap because I really enjoyed showing off all the features of this app. That being said, let's jump into a quick user demo and then on to the code. So now I have the app fired up and we'll sign in. So right when you come to the beginning of this page, you'll get the opportunity to create or edit an itinerary. I'm signed in as an administrator right now, somebody that has administrator privileges, and they would have the opportunity here to create or edit itinerary items for the day, and they'd all be displayed right here. In addition, there's a take attendance function to be used by the admins and some of the guides in the band, and that would give them the opportunity to then take attendance for their section, and then selecting an attendance date, they could submit it. Lastly, I have a gig sign up function that would allow administrators to create gigs and then either close them or delete them. Those would also be seen by members of the band, where they would then have the opportunity to sign up for those gigs. One of the last functions that I built was an announcement page, so you can already see that there is some text still in here. This page is actually really interesting because it saves the format of whatever it is so that when the page reloads, it actually stays exactly how that started. So it's great for making full paragraphs or splitting up the announcements into paragraphs depending on whoever's adding it. And again, all announcements would have the opportunity to be changed by any administrator or officer. So moving on to the changes for this sprint. So this is the calendar feature. I actually, for this calendar, I imported a library called the Good Date Picker library. That is this here. It gives me the opportunity that I was looking for, which is to actually highlight the cells here. So that's something that you're normally not going to see in other apps or other calendar features. So it's something I thought was really cool after doing some searching, so I ended up trying to implement it, and it works out pretty well. So the way that I have it is it highlights any so there's, again, you can see that there's 3 gigs here, and what the calendar feature does is it highlights any days where there is a gig. So if a member was to come here and scroll over it, they would see that the description is there, and they could then choose to go over to the gig signups and sign up for it, or they could obviously ignore it. So the yellow highlight is just a way for members to find out what is available. So when they were to click something, they would actually be able to tell, if they didn't want to just hover, they'd actually be able to tell, again, this is a dynamic build page, they'd be able to tell the time, the name of the event, and the description. So that comes in very handy for when there's multiple gigs, especially during band season. So another example, we could enter this is a test of the functionality, and then we could say something like this is to show off the description. We can set the date to the 15th, this Saturday, and we'll submit that. And then again, we can go over to the calendar, and boom, it's highlighted. So again, you can see the description there, or when you open it and click it, again, it'll build that down here. So that's basically all of the functionality that I built into this sprint. This sprint was pretty light on workload, but I did a lot of bug fixing with some of the other pages, so that's why I gave a quick recap on those to start. So that being said, let's just jump into a code review. So I only created 3 new classes for this sprint. The first is, let's just go to the calendar control. This is just a start and end. As of now, I didn't implement any of the features in here. Most of them are dynamic page building, so I have those going straight through the UI. This is basically just a way to close it and open the page depending on if you click off to a different tab. So the calendar UI is busy, to say the least. There is a lot going on, and going in here, so I actually have it set into a border layout like I have most of my UIs. And the way that I have it, this is the navigation here. This is that bit that you saw at the bottom of the screen, the home, the calendar buttons. And then what it does here is it places the page components. It just has a title label, and then down here is when it starts getting very busy. So these placing calendar components, that is when it places the actual calendar and gives it constraints as to how much it can fill up. And then right underneath it, it places that events label. But that events label will only pop up when the selection has changed. So that's when somebody has clicked on a specific date, then the events label will then pop up and then print out all of their events underneath of that. So you can see in this selection change, that is a action listener that I implemented in the calendar, on the calendar. What happens is it says these place dynamic events. What it does is it goes in here, and if a, let's see here, so it has it on a spacer just from the top of the screen. That's something that could change potentially later on to give it a little bit more flexibility. And what it does is it splits it up into 3 categories. So this is the time, the name, and the description. And what I did here is I just set text with a HTML that allows it to be underlined. So that's something that's pretty unique as a feature with some of the Java strings, that you can actually do that if you didn't know. And then I add everything to the panel, and this is when it starts getting messy. So it basically checks any gigs. As you saw, I went back to the gig screen to get a few things. It checks if any gigs are full, and then, or if any gigs are available, and then it places those gigs as highlighted cells on the calendar. So basically, for each gig now, it'll print out underneath of the title label the specific time, date, and the name for it, and it will add it all to the panel, and then obviously put some constraints there. And so that's how you get that neat printed look underneath of the calendar when you click a specific date. And again, these are just all action performs for the navigation. So that was the pretty cool feature that I had in the calendar functionality. And now this is something that you actually have to change for the highlight policy. So what I did here is, again, this is when I get all of the gigs from the gig database. I pass them through, and then depending on the day, those cells will then be highlighted orange or yellow, and it'll show that description if you hover over it. So that's basically it for my sprint. Everything is finished as of now. Just before the code turn in, I'm just going to be doing some cleaning of my code, and that's basically it for this assignment. Everything as far as functionality works properly. There's just a couple bugs I need to work out here and there, and then I'm done. So I hope you enjoyed. This one wasn't very lengthy, so I hope you appreciate that. And thanks for reviewing what I have.